What's poppin', people? Welcome back to Your Friendly Hood's Untitled Show. Today we got some really big stuff here. We got some big stuff, some big content, big money, big business, big women. It's real, it's true. We're so back. You know, some people said it was over, but we're actually back. So listen, welcome back to Your Friendly Hood's Untitled Show. Normally, this would be like a little bit of a news show. You know, normally we try to like cover, the news stories going on from like a Christian nationalist type of angle here. But today we have a very big guest on, and we might get into the news later, but we have a very big guest. The one, the only, the Hetero-Gamer, the Beardson Beardly.
Yo, hey, how's it going?
What's poppin'? What's popping? I also got this dope call screen here. What's up? Let's go. This fucking music. The music always sucks. It never hits the like right vibe, you know? Like it's all good music. It all would, function well as background music, but it just never fucking works. Play good music.
What are you doing, the shuffle method here, or?
Yeah, we're just doing the shuffle method. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what else can you do, really?
Oh, I'm like my music, man. I'm like, I go in and like curate. I'm like, all right, I gotta have the right song for the right mood. Like, I'm very, I'll spend like more effort like getting the music right than I will like the actual stream itself. Like, I don't care.
I mean, it's real. I just like lose viewers. I just bleed viewers because I'm just like sitting here pressing the skip button until I find a good song. I think this one's a little bit vibe worthy. We got like some jazz type of thing going on. It's not really what I want, but I mean, I guess whatever. Wait, we don't even have chat on screen. What's going on here? There we go. There's the chat. All right, there we go. So anyways, what's popping? So what I want to do here tonight, because, we're bringing Beardson Beardly on, big celebrity, real, based, red-pilled, I don't know, doesn't have a beard, though, so it's kind of like false advertising.
I got a beard, sort of. It's like there. Look, I had a beard for most of my career, okay? I deserve to be able to have that sort of like, I'm an actor that just woke up, like half beard sort of thing, I've earned it. Point.
Yeah, but I don't really know you, Beardson. No offense. I know I'm a big celebrity, and you want to make a good impression on me, but I don't really know you. And so what I want to do here is I wanted to do a stream just trying to get to know who is Beardson, who is Beardson Beardly. What's his story? And I don't think anyone else has actually done this, where they've just... I saw like this like gay interview from Brittany Venti, who I like fucking hate.
Yeah.
What do you think about Brittany Venti, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a particularly big fan. I don't know. It's like complicated because like I want to be nice and everything, but she really is just like, to me, like one of those people that's just like that wants to be sort of like a contrarian, and just like they say things that are shocking for shocking purposes, and there's no real like meat to any of it,
Yeah. But I think her whole shtick is like so bad. So like she's like supposed to be like this like trad like conservative, but she pretends to be like an e-girl thought. But that means like you are an e-girl thought. It's like she's supposed to be a parody of a titty streamer, but it's like in so doing that, you literally just are one.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that woman, man. I fucking hate her.
I mean, her audience is not like made up of very strong intellectual men who are looking for the right ideas, if you know what I mean. I mean, she's basically, these are dudes that have like deluded themselves into thinking that they're not simps, basically, while they still like hear like lukewarm takes from a chick with her titties out. You know what I mean? It's like,
I mean, isn't that basically any woman content creator though?
Yeah, I mean that's true, and I've said this from like the very beginning of my career. I learned this sort of the hard way after Lauren Southern stole one of my videos and told me that she stole one of my videos. Is that basically anytime you hear a woman speak on the internet, they're just regurgitating something that they heard from a man. I mean, so why not just listen to the men talk? You know?
Yeah. My my mom wanted to start like a YouTube channel. And I threatened her with elder abuse. I said, if you ever fucking start a YouTube channel, I'm just gonna kill you. I'm just gonna fucking kill you.
Yeah, you can't let that happen. You gotta put your
I can't let it happen. Imagine how bad that would be if my mom started a YouTube channel.
Yeah, it'd be pretty much over for you at that point. Like, I'd have to cancel you and be like, this guy's mom started a YouTube channel. Like, it's over.
I guess that's like a good little segue. So Beards and Beardly, you're known for your cozy. I guess as of recent, you're known for your cozy channel. You're on cozy.tv/Beardson, right? That's the link, right? Cozy.tv/Beardson. But cozy.tv hasn't always existed, and you have a history spanning far before cozy. So I want to get into that. So I believe you started off on YouTube, right? Yeah, there's like this YouTube channel with like 1,000 subs or something like that. I don't know how many subs there are, but on YouTube. So how did like the whole streaming thing start? Like, why did you even start streaming?
I got started doing YouTube videos, and actually, like I've had like multiple YouTube channels. The one that I used the most was the Weekly Sweat one, which that got up to like 6K YouTube subs at one point or something like that. Like it was doing okay, But I started streaming because I started streaming like maybe 6 years ago. My first stream that I ever did was actually with Andrew England of the Daily Stormer. He invited me on to do the inauguration of Trump. We covered that, and I was like, "Oh man, this format's like really cool. Like, I like the whole like improvisational nature of it because I'm big into like improv comedy and stuff." So I started like playing around with live streaming, and then I started a show kind of centered around live streaming called the Weekly Sweat, and that sort of, I don't know, spiraled into whatever the hell this is now.
So the Weekly Sweat, that was like a drama show, because I don't know anything about you, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I just recently started watching you because you threatened me on, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't need to talk about the threats, but
well, anyways, I just recently started watching you, so like, what was the deal with the Weekly Sweat,
Well, it was a comedy show, really, more than anything else. It wasn't really like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like a drama stream or anything like that. It just so happened that pretty early on into doing the Sweat, I started to kind of notice that like the alt-right at large was just like the most pathetic thing ever, and they just kept providing me content every single week, so we would just continue to talk about them every week. I mean, we mainly covered like the actual like old alt-right, like Mike Enoch and Richard Spencer and Matt Heimbach and Chris Cantwell, and like this whole like sordid cat
sordid.
I mean, they really were, dude. Like, I mean, we're talking like dudes were sleeping with their mother-in-laws, and they were having these like weird like pool parties and things like that, and there was like money being embezzled, and there was like actual like substantial things to like talk about with these people. You know what I mean? It's not like the drama streams today where it's like some like 500-pound whale. It's like, I think Nick Fuentes is gay, or whatever. It's like these people are like actually leading people to like get doxxed, get their lives ruined, and like it like, I don't know, essentially like collecting money in the guise of like saving the white race, when all they were actually doing was spending it on bottles of ranch dressing at Costco and drinking it live on air. It's like
I really remember that era of because that's like when I started watching like political stuff, was the alt-right era of YouTube content. And like, you had Milo, he was doing his thing. There was Sargon of Akkad. You remember Sargon?
Yeah.
You remember Carl Benjamin?
Yeah.
And then who else was there? It was like Millennial Woes. He was a big guy.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that fact?
Yeah. He did not like me. I remember. I wish I could still find the clip, but there was this like clip of him, and he was just like almost in tears, like talking about the irony bros. That was us. I was like, all right, we were the irony bros. He's like, I'm just so sick of these irony bros tearing people down who love the white race, and they're cowards. They're cowards, and they'll never die for the white race like me. And then like the dude's almost in tears. I'm like, brother, get real. Like, this is pathetic.
Yeah. I liked him when he didn't show his face, you know, like when he just like remained anonymous, and so there was like this like air of like maybe this is like a cool Scottish guy doing something based, and then like I remember like they're all flooding back to me, the fucking memories of these Spurg retards. Do you remember a guy named the Wizard of Cause? He was like friends with this so he was like this like gay guy, like straight up like homosexual. I think he's still around.
I know who you're talking about now. So the gay guy that was friends with Millennial Woes. I'm like, okay, now I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of people though.
Yeah, it's true, but
Wizard of Cause. Is he still around? Or did he like to? Okay, wait. Is it? Okay, he's still around. No fucking way. Is this him? I think this is him. Yeah.
Oh, brother.
Dude, his voice is like so. Wait, hold on. You guys probably can't even hear him. I can't even hear him, to be honest. Can we turn this up?
I initially gained a following by
listen to his fucking voice, bro. I just don't know why, dude. And like, I don't know how any of these people got any kind of following. I don't know how any of these people managed to accrue like any followers or any sort of fame whatsoever. Like, what was going on back in like 2014 or whenever?
Well, there was just like nobody talking about this stuff really and it was like, it's sort of, I mean, that was like kind of the problem, right? Like with all these people, Spencer and Mike Enoch and all these people, it's like they sort of like just gained a following just because they were the only people doing it in a very niche space.
Yeah.
And then, admittedly, like I listened to these guys originally because I was like, oh, there's nobody like talking about this stuff. This is interesting. And then you realize like very quickly, I mean, that's kind of like, I mean, part of it for me was like, I discovered Nick pretty early on during these like Right Side Broadcasting days. And I was like, oh, this is like the way to go. It's not like fat ass Mike Enoch or, gay sounding Richard Spencer. It's like, I think this guy is like the guy that we need to be like rallying around.
Yeah. And then everyone says, oh, Nick's like so unoptical. Nick's so bad. And it's like, okay, what's the alternative? You can have like this gay guy. You can have like this gay guy with like a what the fuck is wrong with his face, man?
Yeah,
what the fuck is wrong with him? Or you can have like Jordan Peterson, like, Kermit, just like the worst possible people. The worst possible people.
Yeah, I mean, and these people all just sort of like gained a following because there was nobody else doing this stuff. I mean, it really was like that simple. And that's why when there was like a better alternative that came around, like clearly like they just kind of all fell by the wayside and nobody really like knows who even like. It's funny because every now and again I'll still talk about these guys and bring them up and people are like, who are they? Who Mike? Who's TRS? What is that? Because like they couldn't remain relevant. They never did anything.
There was this one group too that was a part of this sphere. What was the Honey Badgers? Do you remember that? Do you remember the Honey Badgers?
Yeah.
I don't know. I might not. Okay. This fucking woman. I'm a men's rights activist. This fucking woman. This ugly ass woman. Ugh.
Ugh.
This is like disgusting, man.
Ma'am, you don't have to put a fake mustache on. I'm pretty sure you have a real one. Okay.
What? I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm reminiscing. I'm honestly reminiscing. You're bringing back the memories of like me being like a cringe like 13-year-old or whatever the fuck. I don't know
Yeah.
how old I was back then. I really shouldn't have been watching this stuff. Like
Yeah.
rotted my brain out. Now I'm like doing this like awful show, talking to awful people. I'm like a Nazi now, basically, like pretty much.
Yeah. Welcome to being an internet racist, man. You've been inducted.
What's happened to my life? So you got your start, and you're talking about these alt-righters, and then you said pretty early on you found out about Nick Fuentes. You know, what was like the story with that? You know, what was the story with you know, getting to know Nick or whatever? How did the I don't know, you two meet, I guess?
I don't know. I just like he followed me on Twitter and he was verified, like, and I was like, oh, who's this like verified kid? I guess I'll follow him back or whatever. I followed him back or whatever, and then I saw he was like a live streamer and he did a show on like RSBN. I'd tune in and like super chat him every now and again because I liked what he did and I thought he was cool. And so we would like talk occasionally or whatever. And I think the first time we actually like spoke was when he called into the Weekly Sweat while he was in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
And he like DM'd me, he was like, hey, can I come on? I'm in Charlottesville. And I'm like, yeah, because we're doing
Are
a whole
there
big
like clips of this anywhere, or is it like lost?
probably lost. I mean, there may be clips somewhere, who knows? But
what was he saying? Because that must be like crazy. He's like right in the middle of like all the chaos happening. There's people getting ran over. Well, I guess he came there afterwards, but you know, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think he was at his hotel or whatever when he called in. But like, yeah, we were just talking about it and how much of like kind of like a disaster it was. I mean, obviously just was, you know, massive failure. And you know, I mean, there's, you know, we could talk about Charlottesville and like, you know, necessarily all their fault, but it still was like very poorly planned and kind of like an easy honeypot for people to kind of scapegoat it.
I wish I could like watch that clip, man, because I can only like imagine what type of shit he was saying about it. That's gotta be like so cack.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like it was a disaster, you know, but that was like that, like to me that was like the sort of the culmination of like why the alt-right like needed to go to. It's like, because like that really was like that event was the culmination of like all of their hard work and that's what it amounted to, because they were all very incompetent people and they didn't really like think about things and you know, I don't know, you know, I'm like trying to be a little generous here. Like you make the argument like they were in like uncharted territory, whereas with like somebody like Nick, it's like he's at least in a position where he can look at the failures of the alt-right and learn from them. It's like they didn't, but it was also like they didn't seem to really care about anything either. Like they didn't take any care into like planning or in any consideration into like what we should do, like, or like, you know, anything like that. And it just ultimately ended up in people just getting like tear gassed or, you know, arrested. Some people lost their lives over that. I mean, people literally killed themselves because they ended up getting doxxed for going to Charlottesville and stuff.
Man.
So, you know, it was kind of a crazy time, but yeah, that's kind of how I met Nick was through that. And then he would just keep coming on the show and, you know, we'd end up just hanging out and becoming friends.
Yo, we got a super chat. I don't want to like derail the conversation, but it's a $20 super chat. We got to read it. So it says, what are some of your guys' favorite films? Also, seen anything recently that you'd recommend? Do you want to get into that, or you want to like talk about this like later or something? We could like write down a question, come back to it.
Oh, I mean, it's cool. I mean, some of my favorite films, I like a lot of the classics like Akira Kurosawa, Hitchcock, you know, Kubrick. Like, those are my guys.
Yeah.
Big fan of David Lynch, obviously. Eraserhead, Blue Velvet. I saw Infinity Pool recently that came out, and I like that movie a lot.
Infinity Pool?
Yeah, it was really good.
Is that like a...
It seems like it's a hard movie to describe, but it was really good. It's basically about like these like rich people go to this like resort in like this like third world country, and they end up getting involved in some illegal activity, and they end up getting arrested. And in this country, you can actually like, if you're rich enough, you can pay to have a clone. Like basically every crime is like executable by death, but you can pay to have like a clone executed in your stead. So it's kind of like a weird premise, but it's really good.
Yeah, it is weird. I read this this good book in like middle school that's like similar to this. It was called Proxy. And like that was like the whole premise of the book was like it was like this dystopian like it was actually I mean, I don't remember. From what I remember of it, it's actually very current, and honestly like some of this stuff in it is like very real. Like they had like online classes and stuff, and it was like talking about like you know, and then there's like all these like, you know, inner city youths that were, you know, causing lots of problems, and you know, but in that society, if you were rich, you could pay for someone else to basically get punished for your crimes instead of you. But as far as the movie thing though, I pretty much like I was like surprised when I started watching it because I like pretty much all the same movies that you do. Like I was a big fan of Eraserhead, you know, Alfred Hitchcock, Kubrick, all that stuff. So, you know, my answer is the same as Beardson. So, but get back to all this alt-right stuff. I just like they weren't really going into uncharted territory though, because I mean the alt-right was like, what were they preceded by? There were like other right-wing movements going on like the 80s and 90s, and they all made the same exact like mistakes. They all kind of had similar beliefs. And then what did they all do? They all like start committing like mass violence because like they're a bunch of like low IQ retards and getting themselves thrown in jail, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. You could say that it was like uncharted territory though, just because it was like post-Trump America. Like I do feel like pre-Trump and post-Trump America are like two totally different things too, and especially like this was the first time really that like like the internet had like actually had an effect on a presidential election. You know?
Yeah.
Because Trump wouldn't have gotten elected without like Twitter. Like it just would not have happened. He probably wouldn't even won the primary without Twitter. And so it was this like very unique and weird thing where like online activism and real life activism were starting to like merge together.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously it didn't go very well for the alt-right. They were never really able to sort of like reach that sort of transition. Because again, they were like retards. Like they literally just, I mean, yeah, I'm not like exaggerating when I say like these guys looking like trailer parks and stuff, you know, like they just weren't very smart or well educated. So I don't know, like there is like a certain sort of like sympathy I have towards these people in a certain regard, but you know, I don't know. It was just it was very it was a very unique thing where you had like normal people starting to get like doxxed and fired from their jobs and stuff too. So I don't know. It was just like a weird time, man.
Yeah. You know, I saw someone post about this. I think it was Franson, but I'm not sure. It's something about how like when people like are like illiterate and they can't express their inner monologue, right? The inner like feelings and like turn it into like a thought they can share with people. They always turn into like some this mass violence fantasy scenarios where like they win, and they just like make up these scenarios, and like they start going into like, oh, we're gonna like kill all these people and shit. And you know, like the alt-right, like you said, it was a lot of not smart people. And you know, I think that's like the biggest problem, right? Is you got to really keep out the low IQ people. I think AF has really done a pretty good job at keeping out just low IQ retards. They kind of just get like removed, if you will. There's kind of like a big fence or something like that. I don't know if you want to talk about that.
I wouldn't say it's like a big fence. It's just like you do have to have some sort of level of like quality control, though. I mean, you want to attract like a smart audience. You know, you don't want to attract like a bunch of dumb people that are advocating for violence and stuff. And that's what the alt-right was. The alt-right, there was a big this is where the term infighting sort of originated from. Was a lot of the people in the alt-right wanted to just let anyone in regardless of what they said or what they did. And if you questioned or criticized any of these people, then that was considered infighting, and that's bad. And you're like an anti-white subverter, and blah blah blah, etc. And it didn't lead to anything good, because you would attract these like low IQ people who would sort of form their own little parasocial networks inside the alt-right. I mean, eventually by the end of it, I mean, there was like 4 or 5 different little branches of the alt-right. You had like the Spencerists and the TRS crowd, and then like the like full-blown Nazis and the Cantwell crowd, and all of these sort of people like in their own little like tents. You know what I mean? There was no like cohesion around like a central figure of the alt-right. And that's, I think, where America First is strong, is that it's Nick. That's it. And you know, and there's also a pretty decent culture within America First of sort of friendly ribbing and and razzing one another, and making sure that like not you don't have this sort of like Fed posty low IQ culture where people are talking about like Day of the Rope and stupid shit like that. You know, it's like, brother, come on.
I could get into like a whole tangent, but I had to be careful. I don't want to start like too many fights with people. But no, I mean, but that whole thing about like you have to have quality control is something like so many people don't get. Because like I was like one of like the first people that was going after John Doyle. I'm sure like people were, you know, going after him, but like I talked to him, I asked him, why is he not supporting Ye? Why is he not supporting Nick? And then like, you know, everyone was telling me, you're causing infighting. Why are you causing infighting? And it's like, well, is it really infighting? Are we really fighting against each other? Or are we trying to like purify what is the actual message? What are we actually like trying to do? You know, and it's like when Nick and Ye came together, right? It's like, I realized, and even Nick said this, but I think everyone had the realization, we all have to get behind this. We all like, and you know, Dalton goes out there, he starts his Ye is right thing, you know, and all this, because this is the future, you know. But then you have all these people, and they just like have like their little schemes and they just don't want to get with the plot. I mean, I don't know, what do you think about like all this John Doyle stuff? Because it's like, it's kind of like the same in a way as the type of stuff going on back then, where there's like no quality control, let anyone in.
Well, it's like, I mean, with the whole Doyle thing, I mean, like what exactly is their like motive exactly? This sort of infiltration of the system that they're openly bragging about, by the way. Like, we're infiltrating the system by like getting a job at the Daily Wire and chilling Ben Shapiro and Michael Knowles. Like, these are the people, these, like, I mean, you know, not to like be too hard here, but these people are like ideologically our enemies. Okay. And, like, I don't have any interest in like cozying up to Ben Shapiro or Michael Knowles, because ideologically we have a different vision than they do. They want to shill chocolate bars and shaving cream, and I want to like make everyone Christian in America, you know, like that's what I want to do. And so they are our enemies. And if I don't know, like if the whole goal and the aim is to be the guy that gets them coffee in the morning, then like, clearly like we have a very different vision of like what we are trying to do. And it's not even necessarily that like ideologically speaking, there's a huge divide. I'd say probably 80% we probably agree on, but that 20% that we don't agree on is a very important 20%.
Yeah.
It's about talking about, you know, the media. It's about talking about Christ and Jesus and our morals and our values. And those are the things that they shy away from. And so like, ultimately, I think it was like always, this was always going to happen. It's just that they sort of escalated this conflict with Nick and America First because they were jealous. And I can tell you firsthand that they were jealous. I've literally heard John Doyle verbatim say that he was like jealous of Nick and act this way. I mean, and it is like a sort of resentful like jealousy because they don't have the fame or the sort of eyeballs on them like Nick does, but a lot of these people like Vince Down, John Doyle, etc. I mean, the reason why they get into this stuff is because they wanted to get a paycheck, and the reason why we got into this stuff is because we want to save the world, so I think that conflict was always going to be natural.
You have a better beard than John Doyle, according to the chat. How's it feel?
I mean, of course I do. I mean, I have a better physiognomy than that guy does in general. He looks weird. You ever seen his glasses? His glasses are like 3 inches thick. He's like Bubbles from the Trailer Park Boys, man.
Dude, but he's got like this fucking Hunger Games ass beard. Like, what the fuck's going on there?
Yeah, it comes up like it's like Spike or something.
Yeah, like what? He literally looks like the bad guys from Hunger Games, man.
Yeah, like just trim it up. Like, I don't get that. Have a nice beard line,
Like John Doyle used to look like have good physiognomy. Like, I mean, obviously, like, was he better than like Nick or like any of the AF? No, but like he used to be like clean shaven. He used to have like nice hair. He just looked like a little like nerd, but like he seemed like a good guy. And now he like looks like a like degenerate, man. Like, I don't know how to like explain it. Like, he looks sloppy. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, like. Dude, it's because his soul is darkened. Like, that's what it is, honestly. I can tell you, like, straight up, like, his soul is, like, darkened. I mean, he's working for the Blaze, or he was. I mean, who knows what he's doing now? I mean, he's putting out, like, what, two YouTube videos a year or something like that? Like, he's a real hard worker, obviously. But you can just tell the guy's, like, really bitter. And his soul is, like, just crushed or blackened in some way. And, I'm of the opinion that, like, you can always like sort of tell like when someone like has found God and they have the light of God in their life, they look better. They
it's real. It's real.
And they sort of just have a glow about them. And if you look at like John Doyle, it's like he has this like dark aura around him now. It's like his soul has just been blackened and crushed, and he just looks sloppy and evil almost.
Yeah, that's something I actually noticed about you. See, I had like an awareness about you like a couple years ago, and I like saw you every now and then, but I didn't watch you because you seemed like I mean, not to be like rude, but you seemed like a much more mean-spirited kind of guy. And I've noticed that like recently, at least from what I've seen of you, you seem like you've had a big character change. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't want to like offend you, but you seem like you really had a big character change, and you seem like a very like caring, thoughtful person compared to how you used to be. Would you say like that's because of your like conversion to Christianity and trying to follow God? Like, what do you think?
No, for sure. I mean, like, because I was an atheist like most of all through my 20s. I mean, I didn't really come back to Christ until late 2019, 2020. And even then, it's like, it's a process, right? Like when you come to Christ or whatever, it's like, okay, like it was like a big step for me just to like acknowledge that I believe in Jesus Christ and I believe in God. And it took me a long time to sort of get there. And then really ultimately, like last year, I think was like a really big shift and change for me personally, because I went and stayed at like a Catholic priory for a weekend, and I spoke to like actual like Catholic monks and stayed with them for days, and it was like a big eye-opening experience. And that's when
crazy. Why'd you go there? Like, tell us the story. What was the deal with that?
I mean, it was no real story. Like, some friends invited me to go because they were going, and
what was it like there?
It was peaceful, man. Honestly, I felt like I was like sort of transported to like another time, because you're just out in the middle of nowhere. You're going to mass like every day. You're having silent dinners with these monks, and like just sort of like observing their dedication. Like, I felt like so small because I knew nothing about Catholicism when I went in there, and I felt like so small when I went in there because I just nothing. And I was like, it really like put into perspective to me how little like I'm actually putting into my relationship with Christ, because these guys are fully like dedicated to it. And it really inspired me to do a lot better in my life. And it was just like a big eye-opening experience for me. And so when I came back from that, I really do. That's when I started to really pursue it, and that's when I decided I was going to officially convert to Catholicism, because I was pretty hesitant for a while too. I didn't want to like convert just to be cool or to fit in with AF or fit in with Nick or everything. But I did feel like there was probably a reason why I should explore this, because all my friends are Catholic. Everybody that I like and I look up to is Catholic, and so I wanted to have like an honest, sincere pathway, and keep my mind open towards it. And it was after that trip was when I decided, like, okay, this is what I want to do. I attended my first like traditional Latin mass, and that was when I was like, this is it. This is what I need to do.
So red pilled, bro. Like, I've like so many people just don't get that though, how important our relationship with God is. I think people are starting to realize now, but you know, since we like bridge into this talking about Doyle, you know, so we'll just talk a little bit. I don't want to like spend the whole stream talking about this guy. I've done too much content on him, but like these people just like don't get it. They don't understand that like we do live, like how Nick put it, we live in a moral universe. We live in a Christian universe, and like all of our actions matter. And it's not just like doing the right thing, but it's like, are you pushing Christianity? Is Jesus like the most important thing in your life? Like, and I've really been going through like the ringer the past like couple of months, because I've realized, like, you know, as much as like my content is like Jesus focused, you know, it's like, well, it's got to be more than just like, oh, I say I'm Christian. You know, it has to be more than just I say. More than just I have a cross, more than just I wear a cross necklace, more than just like, you know, and like all these people, you talk to them, they always say, oh, I'm Christian, and they don't even like care, you know, like how much of their time are they like thinking about this stuff? How much of their time is like focused on trying to love your neighbor, or trying to, you know, I don't know. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately it's about just having your heart in the right place. I mean, that's ultimately like the biggest quest, I think, of, and this is something like I'm still struggling with. I mean, I'm not there, and I think it's something that all of us as Christians struggle with. Ultimately, being a Christian is not supposed to be an easy path to walk. I mean, it is supposed to be filled with struggles and strife and grief and self-reflection. And that scares a lot of people away, I think, from it. But when you start to draw your strength from God and you start to try to set your heart right, it really is like the most beautiful experience on the planet as well. I mean, the best thing about being a Christian for me is that even when I'm going through like my hardest times, I still have sort of a positive outlook on it, because I can see it for what it is, which is a test from God. You know, like, God is testing me to become stronger. God wants me to live up to this challenge and to conquer it, because that is what he's placed in front of me. He wants me to be stronger. We don't become stronger by just being happy all the time or pursuing our you know, mortal delights. You know, we don't become better people by just you know, doing what we want to do all day. It's about doing what's right and what's moral and what's true. And I think that the true test of you know, ultimately, of being a Christian is just setting your heart in the right place and making sure that all of your actions and that all of your pursuits are ultimately in the betterment of yourself and your relationship with God.
Yeah, I got like I've been getting a lot of comments recently about that where like, oh, I'm going through this struggle and I don't know if I can bear it. I'm trying to be Christian, but God's testing me. Why is he testing me, you know? And it's like, well, the Bible doesn't say like you're not going to go through struggles. And like I've gotten like, there's so many people like can't get over this hump. You know, like Christianity isn't gonna like make your life where like you're never gonna have anything bad happen to you. But it's that, like, what changes is that, well, number one, the bad things happening to you aren't going to be, like, self-inflicted, you know?
Yeah.
Because God's going to change you. And, like, most of people's problems really are just, like, self-inflicted problems from, like, I sin. Why am I depressed? Oh, I, like, jerk off, like, 50 times a day. Maybe that's why you're depressed, man.
Yeah.
Like, I waste all of my ion energy into like, you know, my hand. It's like, maybe that's why you're fucking depressed, you know? But then, so it's like, for one, your problems are gonna, over time, stop coming from yourself. But you're still gonna go through troubles because, you know, while you could purge yourself from sin, you know, there's still sin in the world, right? And other people are going to sin against you. But what
Yeah.
Christianity allows you to do is it allows you to like overcome that stuff, you know? There's like this good Bible verse I want to read here. It's in James chapter 1. And I thought this was like really interesting when I read it because it's like crazy. He says, "My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptations." And I was like, what the hell? Count it joy when you fall into temptation? Like, ain't that like wild? That it says that? It's like, why? Knowing this, that the trying of your faith works patience, and let patience have her perfect work, that you will become perfect and entire and will want nothing. And I was like, damn, that's like deep, you know?
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, like, because ultimately the beautiful thing about like embracing God and having a relationship with Jesus Christ, like you said, it's you're still going to have these like outside struggles, right? Like there's things that are going to be beyond your control. You're going to have a loved one pass away, or you're going to, you know, get into a car accident. You know, bad things are going to happen to you. That's the nature and that's the way of life. But the beauty of it is it's an eternal change, right?
Yeah.
It's that the love of Jesus Christ equips you with the tools to be able to handle these things. It equips you with the tools to be able to overcome these challenges in your life. So it's that internal change and that change within your heart and in your mindset that ultimately will lead to a sort of peace and you know, and a happiness in a certain, you know. And so it's like people, I think, like you said, people do like think that like it's just like a quick fix. Like, oh, if I just pray and if I become Christian or whatever, then my life's going to be perfect and great and blah, blah, blah. That's like, that's not necessarily how it works, but you will be equipped with the tools that you need to overcome these challenges.
Real. So real, man. Yeah, it's just like, if you're going through like a hard time right now, to like the chat, to the people watching, you know, the reason you're being put through this hard time, like God doesn't want to destroy you, like it says right there, you should be happy you're going through these temptations and these like bad things are happening, because God's trying to perfect you. Like in like the Catholic Bible, in like the Deuterocanonical books, I forget what it is. I think it's Ecclesiasticus. I don't know like if you've read like the whole Bible yet. But I remember like when my grandfather passed away, we found this this verse in there, and it was talking about how like gold, when you like purify gold, it doesn't just happen. You have to burn the gold and you have to melt it down to purify it, you know? And that's what the word temptation means in Greek. It means purifying gold, I'm pretty sure. Like in like the original language or Latin or whatever. Yeah. So like we're being purified, you know, we're being purified through these struggles.
Yeah, I mean it's like, you know, you don't craft a marble statue by, you know, waxing it down and sanding it. You have to chisel at it and you have to break it and you have to mold it into what you want, you know. And that's what God does to us every day with every challenge. It's like there is, you know, I know some people like have this sort of like mindset of like, oh, well, why would God let this happen? You know, this horrible thing. Why would God let this happen? And it's like, well, I mean, you know, for one, it's a matter of free will, but it's also it's a matter of molding you. I mean, you become stronger. You know, you have these scars that will sort of help form you into who He wants you to be. So
this is one great interview. So true, Jonathan Ezel. By the way, if you're enjoying this interview, why don't you send money? Why don't you pay me?
True. You should be sending money.
What's going on? You want me to read your questions? Why don't you send money? I'm not doing this for free.
Real.
It's real. It's true. I'm gonna make like a whole $20 off of this. That crazy. Wow. Wow. I guess I got like one last topic though that I kind of want to get into as far as like our interview, and then maybe we can like get into like some of the things that have been going on. You know, we had like the Fuentes rally, we had Trump at CPAC and stuff. I want to like get your thoughts on, you know, some of this stuff going on in the news.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask, you know, why is it that like you're so hated? You know, I hate to keep fucking beating this John Doyle thing. You know, this is my last time talking about John Doyle. I promise, and I will never fucking talk about this guy again.
But this will not be the last time talking about John Doyle. I'm going to talk about that guy forever, to be honest with you.
Well, it's like, why even like waste your like mental energy like thinking about this guy? You know, it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's fun. It's good content sometimes.
Sometimes, but
he wants to keep talking crap. So I mean, I don't know. To me, like I sort of see like the American Virtue guys and John Doyle. Like they are like a very like. I'm kind of glad that we have them as an enemy in a certain way. You know what I mean? Because like I mean, honestly, I'm not even trying to be like too rude here, but for one, they all look like great value, like knockoff versions of like what America First is. But it's also like.
Thank you, Steve Campbell, for the super chat. Jesus is king.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Steve Campbell. But it's also like, you know, they epitomize exactly what like we are not, which is like sellouts. You know what I mean? Because that's ultimately what they are, is like sellouts. And so it is sort of like good to see that these like that to have them as an enemy, because we can just like we now have like a perfect example of like if somebody was like, oh well, why don't you you know, do ads or whatever. It's like, because I don't want to end up like these people, you know.
The point about the knockoff version though is like so real. Have you seen Vince Dow's haircut?
I seen it in person.
Dude, it's like, oh yeah, you did. You did, yeah. Dude, we got to talk about that. But bro, his fucking like he's supposed to have like, I don't know, like the pompadour like gentleman's cut or whatever, where like it's like slicked over that way. But instead of the hairline being here, it's up in the middle of his head. Like his whole head is just shifted this way.
Yeah, it looks like when they were like, I don't know if he's like a test tube baby or what, but it's like the edge, and it just like, I don't know, it's so weird.
All right, yeah, we're gonna get into that. We got to get into that because I have some questions about what the fuck is going on there. But before we get into that, favorite AF or cozy merch? Oh, my favorite AF or cozy merch is the merch that you can buy at URFRIENDLYHOOD.com. Look at this awesome shirt here. Don't you want to buy this? This is badass. And it's designed by me. So you should buy it. You can rep your friendly hood pride. Yeah. Like it's some fucking high school. You can get this shirt. Don't you want to buy this one? Beardson, would you wear this?
Yeah. I would. Yeah, I would definitely rock that for sure.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah, that's sick.
Well, but yeah, what's your favorite AF merch? I guess since they're asking.
I like the DEFCON 3 one they just put out. I got that sweatshirt and it's sick, and I like that one a lot. But I've got actually probably my favorite one was like the Halloween 2021 line with the No E-Girls. That's my favorite one.
I wish I could like even remember what you're talking about. To be honest,
I've got it. Hang on, I'll go get it.
Please. He's going, guys. If you got questions for Beardson, send in some money. Send in a super chat, or 2, maybe even 3. Yeah, you can send as much money as you want, as much money as you have in your bank account. In fact, you could potentially even take out a loan.
Yeah, that right there.
Yeah, okay, let me show this on screen real quick. Let's get this on screen. No E-Girls. It's backwards. That's cool though. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's based.
That was like a limited time Halloween merch drop. It was sick.
That's so keck.
Yeah, cool. I like that one. I rock that one a lot.
Where's the Beardson merch though?
BeardsonBeardly.live.
Wait, there's actually merch?
Yeah, I've got some pretty sick merch too.
Beardson Beardly .live. No way.
Yeah, just click that little thing that says store up the top there.
Yeah, let me go here. This one? Oh, up here.
Yep.
Store.
Yeah, I've got some sick merch.
I didn't even know. Yo, this one's awesome right here.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's good.
I love that one.
Hetero-Gamer.
Yeah, we got the Doog.
Freak, weirdo, loner, doomer, incel.
Yeah.
Beardson socks, yo. Let's go.
We got the socks for the e-girls, you know.
Duke and Beardson. Oh, I didn't even realize, yo.
Yeah.
Best AF artist. Let's go.
Real.
What about Splat Rabbit? How do you feel about Splat Rabbit? I know you had a big blunder recently. How do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened with that guy. Like, he was saying like a F word, an F slur for some reason. I don't know.
Kings, dude, that's so good. This is so Kino. I might have to buy this, to be honest.
Yeah, that one's sick. That's me cutting off Patrick Casey's head when I kicked him out of AF.
Dude, this is actually fucking good. Your pictures are out of order, though, I'm pretty sure. But anyways, go to beardsonbeardly.live. Buy some of this merch, man. I didn't even know. You got to, like, start shilling this more. I didn't even realize that was the thing.
Yeah, well, I think I'm about to shut the store down pretty soon. But it's only because I'm launching like a whole new thing that's going to be even cooler and better, where I'm making all the merch myself. So,
but yeah, Splat Rabbit. Listen, I had a rep for him because he's my friend. You got to forgive him, okay? He's well, you know, he's of a different melanin level than us. You know? You gotta forget. Yeah, you know, I know he said some bad things, but listen, we gotta like practice love and forgiveness, okay? He's a good guy, I promise, I swear, Beardson, he's a good guy, okay? He's just a little mixed up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll consider it. It's just like, I mean, you got to think about it from my perspective, though. Yeah. It's like this whole conflict with John Doyle started because Nathaniel Abbott literally started attacking me out of nowhere, right? And then, like, so I fired back, and then John Doyle's like DMing me about it, and like, lay off my friend. And I'm like, your friend attacked me for no reason. And then I see Splat or whatever being like, this conflict, like pulling this whole like, stop fighting, I'm above it all, I'm better than both of these guys because I don't get it's like these people are attacking us for no reason. And be like, oh, this is so childish, you guys. It's like, yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, I didn't do this, they started it. So yeah,
listen, it was pretty gay. I'm not gonna lie. It was pretty queer, faggoted even, if you will. Yeah. But you know, he agrees with all of our values, and he likes Nick, and he likes what Nick's doing with Yay. He's uninformed, you know. Like I said, you know, he's not.
Look, I get it. You're uninformed. So here would be my tip. If you don't know what's going on, shut the fuck up, okay? Get out. You know, like, and you don't have to play this like I'm better than everyone because I don't get involved in trauma. Trauma stinks. I'm better. Like, that was the gayest thing ever.
All right, we got some more questions here, and then I want to get into a little bit of the news. Then we can answer some more questions later. So. One from RH, $15. He says, do you guys have any atheist friends who mock Christianity? What's the proper way to react to this? My immediate response is to just stop talking to them. You want to go first, or should I?
I mean, I can go first. I mean, I don't have any atheist friends that mock Christianity. I mean, I know people that are atheists or whatever. But if they're gonna mock my religion, I'm not gonna be friends with them. Like, that's the way that it is. That's respectful. Like, I'll be respectful of you, like being an atheist, and I won't. You know, I always try to be pretty like measured and like not preaching to people if they don't want to be preached to, because I feel like that's like a big turnoff for a lot of people, especially like atheists. Like, to me, like atheists, I think are already in a weird position mentally anyways, and I feel like when you start like preaching at them, it's sort of like it just like makes them hunker down even more and being an atheist. So I'm all for like, I'll respect you not believing in God as long as you respect me and my religion. But the moment you start like mocking my religion, then like you're cut off, and I'm probably gonna go the fuck off on you, to be honest with you. So it's just because to me it's just like a mutual respect. It's not even a matter of like religion. It's just a matter of like respect and a friendship, you know?
Yeah. So I don't know, from my perspective, I mean, I don't really have any friends, you know. I lost all my friends because I became Christian. So, like, I'm dead serious. I converted to Christianity, and they all, like, started hating me. They're like, you're a misogynist. You're a homophobic. You're racist. You're xenophobic. And, like, they just stopped talking to me. They're like, fuck this guy. They're like, fuck this guy. But I guess, you know, that's like what the Bible says is going to happen, right? Like, you're going to lose all the people who are like in the world, you know, who aren't with Christ, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, you know, it's normal. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being like friends or friendly with people who are atheists or anything like that. But like I said, I mean, I think it's just about a matter of like mutual respect too. It's like, if you don't respect my religion or what I believe in and you want to like mock it, then I mean, to me, that just opens up fair game for me to mock you and the fact that you think you're, you know, Sam Harris or whoever, and you're like, oh, I know everything. You know?
But I guess like my advice would be, because, you know, I've like reached out to like some of these people, like, and I talk to them every now and then. You just got to be like a real human being. At the end of the day, right? I don't think you should cut people off. Like, I know Beardson, you know, you got to be your own guy at the end of the day. You know, I'm not going to tell you what to do. But in my opinion, you know, it's like you got to love your neighbor as yourself, right? And, you know, I think you should preach at those people, just because it's like, don't you kind of wish like you heard about any of this shit sooner, or like realize what was actually up sooner, you know?
Yeah, well, when I say preach, though, I mean, like, I think there's a difference in like evangelizing and preaching, though. To me, I see that as like a, and maybe this is just because like I was an atheist for so long, so like I have a little bit of a different perspective. But to me, it's like there would be people that would like actively like preach to me.
You're in sin. You're going to go to hell. You need to repent. Don't do that. Don't do that, because
but you can evangelize though too. I think that's important. I think sharing your story of how you came to Christ and stuff, and like I said, just being like a real human being and being a real friend, like talking out of love and care and sincerity.
Yeah, you can even tell them to repent of their sins, but it's got to be like in a way where you're like, this shit's just like bad for you, you know, and like you know, it's like what, like you talked about this yesterday on your Omegle stream last night. And you said, you were talking to this one guy, and you're like, imagine if like your friend's an alcoholic, right? It's like if you really love them, you're gonna tell them stop drinking, right? Does that mean like you hate them? And you don't have to do that in a hateful way, right? You can do that in a loving, caring way where like, I love you, you're my friend, and I'm just trying to help you out. And you should tell them about Jesus, but yeah, like Beardson was saying, just share your story, you know? And, you know, if they keep mocking you and they keep being an asshole, you know, fuck them, because, you know, they're not really your friend if they can't, like, respect you, you know. But I don't know if you should just cut them off, you know. And you should maybe even, like, tell them, like, yo, you're being a dick, man. Like, why are you being a dick?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, you should go through the
just be a real human being. You got to be honest with people, you know, love your neighbor.
Yeah. And I think ultimately, too, you have to keep in mind, like, that, like, our brains, as like, again, and this is a real thing, like our brains just think differently when you become a Christian. Like your whole like mindset and worldview changes, and so it's a very like, it's a hard thing, but you have to sort of dumb things down for atheists. Like, I'm not even trying to like be rude or anything like that, but you really do. You have to like the way that I felt like I've ever had the best success when it comes to like talking to people about Christ and sharing it, maybe opening their minds to it a little bit, is that like framing it in just like pragmatic terms, like not even like religious terms necessarily, but just from a place of like pragmatism and like practicality, you know, of talking like, well, I mean, just think about it for a second. Like if I die and you die, like if I'm right, then I go to heaven and you go to hell. Whereas if I'm wrong, nothing happens and who cares, you know? And just trying to like frame things in like, I think those like very practical and pragmatic ways that like even like atheists can sort of understand. Like that's a big get.
Yeah, I'm making a video about this because I'm gonna like go into a huge tangent if that's all right. Is that
yeah,
cool?
Go ahead.
Well,
yeah.
So I'm gonna be making a video about this soon. Because I've like, you know, most of my videos about Christianity. I do this stream where I talk about the news. Most of my stuff's like, so if you guys are interested in Christianity, if you're new here, subscribe to the channel because I do like videos talking about like Christianity. I'm doing a series. I have a video coming out like probably next month with Pine Sap. We're going to be doing a documentary on Catholicism. And I'm also going to do one about Orthodoxy a little bit later. But anyway, so... But I've been really like dissatisfied, like looking up like the atheist versus Christian, you know, videos and like the disproving evolution. And it's like, I just think it's like retarded. That's not the right thing to, that's not the right way to go about it, in my opinion. That's not like persuasive, you know? I didn't become a Christian because some guy disproved evolution debunked, you know, and that's not why I became Christian. I didn't become Christian because some guy told me, repent! The kingdom of heaven is at hand. You know, like that's not why I became Christian. I became Christian because, you know, I looked at my life. I'm like living in sin, and I realized my life is like literally living hell. Everything is just suffering, and it's all caused by these things that I do, which just so happen to be sins in the Bible. And like, there is an objective morality, you know, and like all these people, they always say, oh, there's no objective morality without God. Yes, there is. If I fucking stab you right now, no one in the audience is going to be like, oh, I love it being stabbed in the stomach. I love having my fucking guts ripped out of my abdominal cavity, you know? No one's going to say that. There's obviously universal morality, a universal values, right? And all of the values, right, everything that we value as above something else, everything that makes you happier happens to be a Christian value. And everything that makes your life worse just so happens to be called a sin in the Bible, right? It's like, you know, like I had a few friends that were like, you know, homosexuals or trans, because like I'm like Gen Z and I'm in the fucked up generation and I'm in like a liberal state. They all like carve up their wrists and shit and like their legs. I knew this one girl, she would like carve fat into like her like stomach and shit with a fucking razor, man. And I'm like, what? Like, I know that's like, you know, fucked up. But you know, it's like, why are they like that? What's the common thread between all these people? And it's like, they all do the things that the Bible says is wrong, right? And that's like the proof of God right there. It's like, if we are designed, whether it be by evolution or whatever, if we're designed to follow the Christian ethic and we're designed to be happiest when we're following Christianity and we're doing what God commands us to do, isn't that like proof enough the person who designed us is the Christ, the Christian God? You know? Yeah.
Well, and I think, I mean, I don't know. I think there's like different tactics for different people. I mean, I think like I'm not like trying to counter something because I did agree like this whole like evolution debunked thing, like that's not going to reach like 90% of the people, but like there may be like 10% out there that's like, you know, Mr. like facts and studies like, oh yes, that is weird that carbon dating shows that all creatures, like 90% of all animals on the planet came into existence at the same time or whatever, you know. But that may work for somebody, but to me, like, God isn't about like facts or data or studies or things like that. Like, God ultimately is spiritual, and like I think that's the part like that you have to speak to, because I think in our society right now, everyone is lacking that sort of like spiritual connection, and they all know it. They may not realize that it's God or Jesus Christ that they're missing, but I think everybody, even atheists, like sort of acknowledge like there is some sort of spiritual piece in their life that is missing. That's why they fill it with, you know, Marvel movies, or they fill it with, you know, these things that have this sort of like mythology, or they'll fill it with astrology or paganism or whatever. But they still never really feel fulfilled. It's like, you know, having like a fake diamond in a necklace or something, you know, like they know it's fake, but they'll still like, well, but it looks good, you know? And I think that's like ultimately trying to like reach people, you have to sort of hit them in this sort of like practical spiritual place. But that's just my opinion. That's what worked on me. So like,
yeah. And then we have one last question, and we're gonna get into like some of the stuff that's been going on in the world. Question for Beardson: why does every single person of African persuasion on Omegle refuse to change the batteries of their smoke detector?
Bro, here's the one. I don't know. Like, it's a phenomenon that I've noticed. We've got it coined. It's Beardson's Law in Urban Dictionary. We actually coined it, but it's true. I think what it is like a lot of these people maybe grew up in like Section 8 housing. Actually had a black guy explain this to me. He's like, well, a lot of these black people grew up in Section 8 housing, and basically the smoke detectors in the hallways and stuff would be like locked up, so like that way they couldn't like pawn them or sell them or destroy them or whatever. So the thing would be beeping all the time, and they've just become so accustomed to it that they don't even hear that sound anymore, because they'd have to sit there and wait for like a maintenance guy to come and like unlock the box and change the battery or whatever, you know. And I think that's what it is.
Man.
It's without fail, though. It's without fail. Every single.
The thing is, I noticed it too. After you said it on that stream last night, I was like, I've been noticing this my whole life. Dude, every black person I've ever known, I like come to their house or like I call them.
Dude, you scroll through TikTok and you see like a black person on TikTok and you just hear it in the background. I don't know what
chirp,
it is.
Man.
I'm not even trying to be racist. It's like, it's just a fact. You know what I mean? Like, I want to debate like Destiny on this. I'm like, if you want to sit there and say that all the races are the same or whatever, then why is black people never change the batteries in their smoke detectors?
Dude, and it's so, no one can deny this. I have this one cousin, and he's like this, like, he's got like orange hair and like blue eyes. Like he's like one of these gingers that's like really ginger. Like you can really see it. Yeah. Like strawberry blonde hair or whatever. But he hangs out with like all these like blacks, and like he's constantly like assailing like all of my uncles. You're racist. You're racist. I should ask him, yo, you ever notice that like all of your black friends have that like smoke detector chirp? You ever notice that? See, and maybe that'll like start to red pill him. It'll be like, maybe these black people really are like, you know, have some kind of group collective consciousness. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I can't explain it because it's literally only. I mean, I'm not to say there's no white people that don't have it chirping in the background, but I'm saying 56% of the smoke detector chirping in the background is in 13% of the households in this country. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I think it's more than 50% though.
Dude, it's like 80 probably.
Black lung moment. Can you give us a black lung moment real quick?
No, because I'm just now getting over the Brant flu, so I don't want to risk it.
That's what I'm known for. That's like my like brand. I don't know,
are you a smoker?
No.
Oh, then why are you coughing all the time?
Because my family. I went to the doctor to get myself checked out. I told like a story. And it was like they had like straight mold all over the walls. It was like this urgent care, some shit like that. I don't know.
Shit. And
it was like mold on the walls. Like, how are they even gonna help me? Who knows? They said, oh, it's because your family smokes. It's because you know. So I'm like, okay, I guess that's why. Yeah, that's totally why. That's why even though I'm like nowhere's near any cigarettes right now, I'm just coughing, you know. Yeah, there's totally nothing wrong with me. Thanks for the help. I couldn't have discerned this on my own. So
the doctor though, dude, you go to the doctor nowadays and they're just like, Joe, I don't know. Oh, okay, great. Here's $3,000, please. I don't know. Oh, okay, great.
All right, so keep sending those super chats. We'll read your questions a little bit later, but we're going to get into some of the current events going on. So we covered this a little bit last week, but Trump, he has his CPAC speech here. I'm playing on screen here. So he had his little CPAC thing going on last week, and you were down there. And Trump, he gave this awesome, this red-pilled, this based speech. It's probably the best thing that we've heard from Trump in a very long time. And I put out this this post. I was really just copying something Franson said, but I was like, everyone has to thank Nick Fuentes and Ye for Trump's speech last night or tonight or whatever. Whenever I posted it, a lot of people were like, "How were they involved? How were they involved?"
Really? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm still like, I didn't listen to like the whole thing, so I can't like give a good opinion on it because like, I mean, obviously I was like out and I was like at the event while it was happening or whatever. So I listened to like a bit of it. I listened to a good chunk of it on the plane though, on the way home. And I mean, it was better for sure. I mean, I think I'm still not like.
You got to listen to the end of it. You got to listen to the end of it. That was the best part of it, because the beginning of it, he's talking about like, you know, all this like boomer neocon shit. At the end though, it goes so hard, man. He's talking about how he wants to have America full of flying cars. Like he's literally like talking about like Christian futurism, basically. Like he's literally like, it was like so based. It was so red pill. And I was like, he's literally like copying talking points that Ye and Nick have been trying to convey to him. I believe he even talked about like, we're just going to deport millions the first day of my presidency. And I'm like, that's so, we're so back. Maybe, I mean, that is good. Maybe it's not Ye 24, you know, maybe it is Trump 2024, you know, I don't know. Maybe we'll see like a Trump Ye like collab, you know, we'll see like a Trump president, Ye vice president, and then like someone can like assassinate Trump. No, I'm joking. No, we can't go there. Just a joke. Please don't send the police to my house. Please don't put me on a terrorist watch list. I'm begging you, please.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Like, it's good though, and I'm glad to see Trump is like moving further right. And I think ultimately, at the very least, like the Nick Ye collab is going to push Trump further right. And I think that there's already evidence of that. You know, I think there's already some sort of like. You're starting to see the evidence of it here, which is good. I mean, that's a really good thing, because it's undeniable that Nick and Ye are outflanking Trump on the right, obviously. And to sit there and pretend like I don't know, I still see people coping as if like they act like Trump doesn't know who Nick is. It's like, dude, he got flack. He's still getting flack for having dinner with the guy. You know what I mean? Like, do you mean to tell me that Trump just like, I'm not going to bother to look this guy up or see what he's about? You know, I mean, that's just foolish.
Yeah. So Trump gives this awesome speech, and it was pretty based. There's not much to really talk about, you know. It was based. It was red-pilled, and Nick's fingerprints are all over it. Ye's fingerprints are all over it. And what was so crazy is, I mean, obviously Nick is always going to be like more hardcore than Trump, right? Like, I mean, that's just like a given, because he's like the radical right pretty much at this point. But like, a lot of what Nick said in his Fuentes rally, which I want to talk about with you, it was like directly parallel to what Trump was saying. Let me get this pulled up here. We can have the awesome intro video playing in the background. But a lot of what he was saying was like directly parallel to the things Nick was saying about how we need to stop being stuck in the past. We need to be looking ahead to a future, right? Christian futurism. So I want to talk about, you know, the stuff going on with this Fuentes rally. So you were there, as we all know, and what was the deal with all that? What's the scoop?
The swe like
what's the story? What's the story?
I mean, what do you want to know?
I mean, I guess we can. We can get into this first thing. So basically, what the Fuentes rally was, for anyone who is like, you know, hasn't been here, you know, they've been living under a rock or something. Basically, Nick was I guess having essentially a protest of CPAC, pretty much, in a way, is
Yeah.
what we would call this, and it was like done like right across the street from CPAC pretty much, and he had
No,
this big
literally
event.
right across the street.
Oh, literally right. Dude, that's beast. That's
Literally
actually
right
red
across
pill.
the street. Yeah.
And
Like
so
I remember,
yeah.
this is how across the street it was. It's me, Dalton, and Tyler. Like as soon as the event ended, we all went outside to smoke a cigarette, and we ran into Richard Grinnell walking out of CPAC, and we were like, convert, like yelling at him.
Yeah, that's based. That's so good. So he's having this protest basically of CPAC, and some pretty just base stuff was going on there. And so he told all the Groypers to fly out. He had something like, what was it, like 200, 300 people coming out there to see it just on like a week's notice or a couple days notice pretty much.
I mean, it was packed. It got so full that they had to have people leave because they were like the fire marshal was coming in and saying like, we have to have like 25 people like leave right now because the room was so full. And then there was still people like outside that couldn't get in, you know?
Yeah. And didn't you guys get like Jude out of your like the original venue? You had to like pick like the shitty venue pretty much because like they fucked you over.
Yeah, it got canceled. The original venue got canceled or whatever, I think. So, yeah.
But it was still crazy. And, like we saw on screen, there was these crazy visuals there. Nick said some crazy stuff. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about... So the Groypers, prior to Fuentes rally, they were just roaming the streets here. And... during this time, they actually encountered good old Vince Dow. I can't show you, Beardson, but you've seen the video. Nick posted on his Telegram where Vince Dow is like getting assailed by these people, and I just want to like show it on screen. I want to get your thoughts on this. What is the scar on Vince Dow's neck? So like they were just verbally harassing Vince Dow on the streets. What is this scar though, man?
Oh, I have no idea. You want to know the funny story, a little backstory too? Because I met the guy that filmed this video, and he was wearing a Beardson shirt while he was.
Was it Valley Zoomer?
No, it was another guy.
Okay, whatever.
But Valley Zoomer was there, I think. Yeah, but there was another guy, but he was actually wearing a Beardson shirt while he was harassing Vince Dow. I was like, "Let's go, that's my dude." Yeah, I don't know, dude. I mean, dude, look at all his like acne scars and stuff on his face too.
Is that what it is? It's acne scars.
Yeah, you can see it on his face. Like, look at it. He looks like fucking Edward James Olmos, man.
But like, how does this even happen to someone? He looks like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess when you grow up in the back of a Chinese sweatshop or something, you know.
Yeah, and is he like wearing makeup too? Because like the front of his face is like a little bit of a different flesh tone from like where this scar is, and like it's more smooth. Right?
Yeah,
it's like, what?
No, he definitely wears makeup. He definitely wears makeup to try to hide his acne scars.
And then what I found even like more strange is in the background there, you have this like black guy, and like he looks like stoned, bro.
That's Chandler Crump, actually. Who?
Oops.
Yeah, we may or may not have video of them two sort of. I don't know, doing something with an e-girl at a party. But yeah,
no, viewers of this channel, they've seen what's going on. So we had this Vince Dow encounter, and after that we had the Fuentes rally. I think it was the same day, but little bit later in the day. And so we had the Fuentes rally, which was like fucking crazy, man. Like this was like just totally like off the wall. Like this is totally different from anything that we've ever seen from any kind of conservative commentator, any kind of, right-wing talking head. This music is ass, bro. There you go. That's a little bit better. Not much better. So what were your thoughts on the whole messaging and the presentation of this thing? You were there first person. What was it like being there watching this take place in real life?
No, I mean, it's surreal. I mean, it was really great. I thought that was honestly probably one of, if not Nick's best speeches that he's ever given. The one thing that really like stood out to me in the speech was him talking about like this sort of like malicious cruelty of like modern conservatives now, where because this is something that I've noticed that they do a lot, and where they'll just like pick some like random person on TikTok and they're like, this person is like evil and demonic and blah 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 or whatever, and just to sort of like score clicks and points, I guess. And I really like the idea of like we need to stop being so cruel to these people and show them compassion. Like we need to attack the ideas and not the humans that are. Because I mean that's the thing, right? Like a lot of these people have just been brainwashed. Like they just don't know any better. They've never seen like another path, you know, towards anything else. And you know, so this idea that like we're just gonna like attack these like individuals day in and day out, I've always found that kind of disgusting to me. And so I really like that part of the speech where he was talking about sort of the cruelty of like the modern conservative. That was the part that really like stuck out to me.
Yeah, it kind of gets back to what we were talking about earlier about like evangelizing people. There's these like Christian, you can find these like on YouTube of these like Protestant Christians who are like going out evangelizing, preaching the gospel, quote unquote, and they got like a bullhorn and they're like, you're going to hell, sinner, repent. And it's like, but like that's like so real. It's like you're a sinner too though, jackass. Like fuck you. Yeah, it's like you're gonna tell these people repent of your sins, and it's like, how much do you sin per day, bro? Right. Yeah.
Well, and also like wouldn't I don't know. I think sort of like indulging in this sort of because I'm sympathetic. I get it, man. Yeah. Like we do live in Sodom and Gomorrah. Like it's very painful to like it's to look outside or like turn on your TV and see this sort of stuff and to be attacked on a daily basis. But like the thing is like we can't like engage in this sort of hatred and malice and anger. Like we have to channel these things in a positive direction. Like I think it's almost like a sin of itself in order to just like embrace this sort of anger and to take it out on other people, you know?
Yeah, it's got to stop, man, because you can't convert people by being rude. And you know, Jesus was rude to some people, definitely. Like, you know, he has that one line that Nick quoted, and that like I had never read the Gospel of Luke before, but he says to like this guy who's like wants to go back and bury his father, right? Instead of following Jesus, he's like, wait, I need to go bury my father. And Jesus says, let the dead bury their dead, but go you and preach the gospel, like, or whatever the fuck. And I was like, damn, that's hardcore. But like, Jesus is like not rude to like normal people, you know, like, you know, you got Mary Magdalene or whatever, you know, and like they're trying to kill her for prostitution, right? And she's not like he's not, you know, like hating on her. He's just like, go and sin no more. If no one's here to condemn you, neither will I condemn you. Go and sin no more. You know, like he shows compassion to a lot of people, you know. And these atheists always bring out, they're like, Jesus sat with sinners, and it's like, and then atheists or Christians want to attack the atheists and be like, oh, actually, Jesus didn't partake in their sin. And it's like, well, yeah, but he did sit with sinners, you know, like he had compassion on them. And we got to do the same thing. Like people like attack like Nick for hanging out with Catboy Cammy. I'm sure you don't want me to bring that up, but you know, we're bringing it up. And it's like everyone hates on him, but it's like, what was he trying to do there? He was trying to convert Cammy to Christianity, right? And it's like, is that like so evil? You know, it's like, if he's gay because he hung out with this guy and tried to convert him to Christianity, then I'm like way more gay than this guy, you know?
Yeah, well, it's just like, and like I said, it's like a fine line. I mean, like, you know, like I said, the path of like of Jesus Christ is not like an easy one, and it's like we are going to stumble and fall. But like to me, ultimately, you know, because I mean, look, it's not like I'm like totally righteous on this topic too. I mean, I laugh at trans people and stuff. It's they're
I mean,
weird.
it's hard not to. I mean, I do on my show too. You know, I'm not going to hate on you for doing it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think there's like a time and place for both things. I mean, like, we do need a little bit. We do need to bring shame back to our society, because that's something that I think is sorely lacking. We need to bring guilt back in our society for these sort of things. But at the same time, you know, it does have to come from a place of, I think that's ultimately what it is. It's like, it has to come from a place of compassion and care. It can't come from a place of like, I want to dunk on this person because it'll get good clicks and things like that. You know what I mean? Like, and this will get good views, so I should do it. It needs to come from an honest and sincere place. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's always going to be like everything that you do is going to be like super productive or everything like that. But, you know, just acknowledging, I think, where your heart is and what your intentions are is huge. Because like I said, at the end of the day, God knows where your heart is.
Yeah, real. Someone in the chat, they said, the speech was great, but the visuals make it look like a terrorist meeting. I hate that. I fucking hate that, man. Why is it such a problem that it looked cool?
Yeah.
Like, I found this like image of like a ISIS flag, but it's like Christian, and it had like if you translate the text, it says something about repent, Jesus is God or something like that. And I was like, that goes hard as shit. And then all these people are like, that like looks like terrorists. Like, no, it's just badass. Why can't we be badass? Why is it only like other religions get to be badass, have cool symbology? And then like you have like all these like people are like, don't post paintings of Jesus. It's like, no, the paintings of Jesus are awesome, bro. They look cool. Why would I not post them? Like, it's like, no, we can't look cool. We gotta look like fucking cornball retards. We have to look like Vince Dow. It's like all these people just hate greatness, you know?
Yeah, like, I don't know. I don't get the hate for the visual. I thought it looked great. I mean, it looked cool, and you know, I mean, I don't know. There does need to be some sort of like. I mean, you could make the argument that maybe it looks like menacing or whatever, but like, isn't that kind of like part of what makes it so cool? You know what I mean? Like, in appealing to people is that like, this is like, yeah, like, we're Christians and like, we're coming to take back society, you know? Like,
yeah, it's like everyone's making fun of the fit, but it's like, what is like the alternative? Like, you could have like the gay cyberpunk look, like, I don't know, like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but like, there's all these like Zoomers and shit, and millennials too, that have like the gay cyberpunk, I'm gonna shave the sides of my head off, but then like their head looks like goofy as shit, like this like gross weird, that exact haircut.
I don't know who would do that. For the record, and this is not the haircut that I wanted. I was trying to get a nice fade going.
Well, yours like looks nice though. I'm talking about like the people who have like a misshapen head and it's like shaved up like too far. And then they like dye it like pink or something. It's like hanging down, like that's like the alternative look. Or like you're gonna be like Ron DeSantis. Like, can we get Ron DeSantis in the boots? Like, but yeah, like, this is the alternative. What are we supposed to like look like this? This is real conservatism. This is real conservatism right here. It's like, why can't we just be great? You know, like, why can't we just be awesome? Why does everything have to be mediocre? Why is everyone so afraid of being great? You know,
I mean, I don't know. Like, people try to hate on like Nick for wearing like the Ye stuff, but it's like, dude, the Yeezys is cool. Like, it's just cool looking stuff. Like, even before like Ye came aboard, like, I was buying Yeezys and stuff because I like them. I think they look cool. They're like futuristic and neat. And that's, I mean, I've always been like, I don't know, like, and especially like this past year, I've been trying to get like more into like fashion or whatever, and trying to like dress a little bit better.
Me too.
We should want to look cool, and like, because like ultimately, like, you know, I don't know, like, no one's really attracted to like, what, you're gonna like rock your like overalls and like a t-shirt and your straw hat, and like, yep, I love Jesus, you know, like, I don't know, like,
I mean, that's a little bit base though.
I mean, I guess if you're gonna go for,
but I get what you're saying. I get what you're getting at.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, to me, it's like, we want to look cool because like, we have to be like, we're the PR people for Christ on this planet, you know, like, and so we need to look good. We need to have a good aesthetic. We need to have a good fit. We need to look good. We need to look healthy, because that ultimately makes people want to be like us. You know what I mean? And they're gonna be like, well, wow, that guy looks really cool. What's his deal? Oh, he's like a Christian. Oh, that's interesting. You know?
Yeah. I think like there's something to be said about that. There's really a fear of being great. Like people try to shame you into being mediocre, you know? Like I don't know, man. Like so many people like they hate on Ye, like, oh, the mask was stupid. It's like, how is it stupid? You know, like what was so stupid about his mask, right? What was so stupid about Nick's jacket and his sunglasses, right? It's like, well, it's unconventional. So like, what is that saying? It's saying you have to fall in line with what is normal, right?
Yeah.
God doesn't want that for you. Like that's literally a sin in the Bible. I don't know if you woke on that, but like God's plan for all of us, like ultimately, is he wants us to be like great artists, you know?
Yeah.
Like in Genesis 2, his first commandment to man is he says, be fruitful and multiply and conquer the earth. He says conquer the earth. That's how it's phrased, like specifically. Yep. So he's saying he wants you to go out and conquer the world, right? And it's like and sin, if you think about sin, all sin does make you mediocre.
Yep.
Like that is where sin leads. Yeah, and even in like the way you look, like when I was like before I was a Christian, I really did look mediocre and like sick, you know, weak.
Yeah.
And like everyone that like, you know, like if you can like find pictures of them before like they became Christian, it's always like that, you know. It's like what we could be looking like Jordan Peterson with a Daily Wire fit. Dude, I wish I had the fucking picture, man. There's like this picture he's dressed up like fucking Donald Duck on an interview, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. But he was. So rude.
Well, I mean, like ultimately though, like, you know, like the people that like want to complain about like, oh, why isn't he wearing a suit, blah blah blah, it's like, because that's like the conventional political thing to do. It isn't ultimately the you know, at least this is the way that I've always seen America First, and this is why I've always been a supporter of America First, is that it's not necessarily trying to just infiltrate politics and you know, do the conventional political thing. It to me, the way that I've always seen it, I'm not going to speak for Nick or anything else, but the way that the thing that I've always been attracted to is the idea of completely reshaping what is conventional politics. Like that's to me the ultimate goal, is to shift the paradigm to the point where, like, yeah, you can have a president that comes out in a pair of Yeezys and you know, a Balenciaga jacket or something, or somebody that can say that they love Hitler or whatever, or you know, or you know, say these like really wild and unconventional things. Because for the past 50 or 100 years in this country, in order to become like a decent political actor, you've had to be groomed essentially your entire life and have to be absolutely perfect, make no mistakes, and you know, follow this certain trajectory in order to get into power. And to me, part of I think the mission of America First is to shift that dynamic to the point where we no longer have to play by these rules that nobody can even pinpoint that who wrote them. You know what I mean? I mean, all of this like conventional political talk doesn't appeal to me, and I don't think it appeals to most people anymore. You know, we need to shift the paradigm to the point where we can reach these like non-voters who stop caring about politics and get them to get engaged and involved. And the only way that you're not going to do that by wearing a suit every day and wearing your gay little boots or whatever. You're gonna do that by being bold, being brave, and shifting the paradigm.
That's so true. Yeah, and look, we're always on the cutting edge, you know, and we're always like years ahead of everyone else, and that's something I want to talk about. So next thing I want to get into is this Tucker Carlson thing. So Tucker Carlson, he just like did like this, he broke this huge story, this untalked about story before, that January 6th was actually a psyop and nothing bad actually happened at the Capitol.
Oh boy.
Like let's just watch this, right? You can see it, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's
Thomas
play
Massie serves in the Congress. He did then, he does now. He represents the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Congressman, thank you so much for coming on. I have never seen members of Congress accuse the other, I mean, there's usually a kind of fraternity in the Congress. You're all members of Congress, 435, accuse their colleagues unfairly, without any evidence at all, of committing felonies. What's your response to this, to the lying from your colleagues in the Congress?
You've exposed so many lies tonight with these tapes that it's changed my perception of what happened 2 years ago, and I was there. The tapes of people milling peacefully about. And my hat's off to your producers for sitting over there and going through hours of this.
It's like
But
so
I would
boring.
love
It's like
to-
so bad.
You
It's
know,
like
to
not
unleash the
interesting.
resourcefulness of the American public on these videos.
Yeah,
I
and I don't
think
wanna
they
talk
should be
crap about
released.
Massey, 'cause
You
that's
know,
why- I mean,
it's
I voted for the
poppycock.
guy. I mean,
They
he's-
can't be released
congressman,
because
but-
of some security issues. Look, I'm the one who's supposed to be secured by these buildings, and
Right.
I'm not worried about releasing them. They need to be released. In fact, there was a Rasmussen
Man,
poll
I
that
don't
just
even want to
came
watch
out.
the rest of
This
this.
showed
Oh my gosh, this is like so boring. This is like
Yeah.
so. Why does like that's like another thing too? Like all the news sucks. There's like no good content, mainstream content anymore. Like it used to like at least be like bearable to watch. Like that's how do you even fucking watch that, man? That was so boring. But you know, like what they're talking about. So Tucker, for those of you that are like watching that aren't aware, Tucker. I think who was it, McCarthy or something? He sent him like like 4,000 hours of footage from January 6th, right? Something like that. I forget the guy's name. But anyway, so he got all this footage of January 6th, and so he did 2 nights of this like special where they're reviewing the January 6th footage, and they're like, this is the proof that it was all a psyop and no one committed any crimes. This was not a deadly riot. It was a peaceful protest. And it's like, we already had all of the evidence that it wasn't a riot and it was a peaceful protest and nobody died 3 years ago. 3 years ago. Everyone in AF, and even like people who are like not as cool as AF, everyone already knew, you know? Everyone already broke the story. And you got Tucker coming out here, you got the mainstream coming out here 3 years too late after everyone's already been imprisoned. Oh, actually, January 6th was fake. After all the heat's like pretty much blown over at this point and everyone's been thrown in prison. Bake's been thrown in prison. I think Hugh Shaman got thrown in prison and all that. And it's like, what, like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on this like bullshit, man? It's like total bullshit.
Well, I don't know. It's like obviously some sort of like psyop, I think, man. Like, cause like not only like, I don't want to like downplay. Like, obviously, like it sucks that those people got arrested, but you got to think about it on a grander picture too. What ended up happening after J6 was like the total capitulation of the Republican Party too. Like, and that's what I think the real goal was. Ultimately, like it was a total demoralization of the Republican Party to not like investigate election fraud. Election fraud became a thing that you're not allowed to talk about or to question or anything like that. It became such a hot topic after J6, and it's too late now. I mean, even still to this day, it's something that you have to be worried about.
Yeah, you got to be a little careful about talking about it on here. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. It's just like a hot topic or whatever. You're not allowed, you can't really talk about it or really speak on it or anything like that.
And it's because they didn't do anything when the time was there to do it, which was like J6, immediately following J6, the things that happened. We all broke the story. We all told everyone what was up, and we had all the evidence. I made a documentary about it, set with all the stuff Tucker said, except it was better and more interesting. And it's like this guy's 3 years later is like finally like, oh, January 6th was a peaceful protest and nothing bad happened and no crimes were committed. Like, and then everyone's like, Tucker's our guy. So like, why wasn't he like doing anything? Why did he do nothing for the past 3 years?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, those texts came out. We all saw where he talks about how much he passionately hates Trump and he can't wait to stop talking about him anymore. You know, I mean, I don't know. He's never. He's probably one of the better talking heads. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and argue that. I mean, he talks about some relevant stuff every now and again, but like the people that sit there and say that he's like our guy or that he's like, oh, he's the best. He's so great. It's like, you're missing the bigger picture.
Yeah. And then another story just came out that is very similar to this one. This is about COVID. Now we're gonna have to be a little bit careful, as you know, YouTube has policies against talking about the shot. So just be aware, because I know like you're not used to being on YouTube or whatever. You're cozy, total free speech haven, pretty much, But so just don't talk about the shot, basically. So this is the Today Show or whatever. I don't know where the fuck this is. Isn't this like MSNBC or whatever? And they're talking about this. Let me turn up the audio so you guys can hear that are watching.
Report from the U.S. Energy Department. It suggests COVID-19 likely originated from a laboratory leak in Wuhan, China. NBC's Kelly Cobian.
Damn, that's crazy.
What can you tell us, Kelly, about these findings?
Well, Savannah, we're now nearly 3 years on from the start of the pandemic, and there are still more questions than answers.
Honestly, I just want to believe that it was totally a real virus just because it's a woman telling me this. And she's ugly, too.
In Wuhan, China, that so-called lab leak theory. That's what two sources with direct knowledge of the report told NBC News. The sources said that according to this classified report, the Department of Energy has now concluded with low confidence where coronavirus originated. One source cautioning that this is not being viewed as hugely significant because of disagreements among different intelligence agencies. The source told NBC News that key lawmakers on the House and Senate Intelligence Committees were actually briefed on this report more than a month ago. China is also weighing in overnight, saying that officials should stop, quote, hyping up the lab leak theory and politicizing the origin tracing process. Savannah.
Well, speaking of politics, there are other investigations into this very issue.
Yeah, that's right. And Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, was asked about the investigating process over the weekend on CNN Sunday. He said that, look, there are a variety of views within the intelligence agencies. He said that a number of the agencies have said they just don't have enough information to be sure on the origins of COVID-19. He said the president has repeatedly directed every intelligence agency to put effort and resources to get to the bottom of this, and specifically requested that the national labs, which are part of the Department of Energy,
why does Joe Biden look like this?
The DOE spokesperson did comment on this to NBC News, saying the Department of Energy continues to support the thorough, careful, and objective
that guy is
work
for
of
real
our
demon
intelligence
possessed, though. Like, I'm
professionals
not
in
gonna lie. I know that that's like
investigating the origins of COVID-19
dad
as
joke.
the president directed.
His like eyes are like black in that last picture.
Also commenting on this,
Yeah,
saying in part we're reviewing the classified information provided, but Republican lawmakers are also on top of this. They're pushing for more investigations. They want extensive hearings as well, and they want the Biden administration to release more information to the American people. Savannah?
All right, we'll watch as this develops. Kelly, thank you.
Then it just cuts the Fat Al Roke.
Wait, no, we gotta listen to this.
Thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day.
Who the fuck is this, bro? Who the fuck is this? This is so gay, bro. Black people need to stand up for their masculinity, man. Like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
So, but the reason I'm like bringing this up, like, it's like, yeah, obviously, the corona came from Wuhan labs, very likely, right? Like that was, or maybe it even didn't. Maybe it was just like totally fake. But I mean, we've all like caught some kind of horrible virus, in the past, like, and when this all came out, it's like even fucking Mr. Medicare was like red pilled on this and woke on this, and everyone already knew. As like 3 years later, now we have Fox News, now we have the news people are like, oh, COVID? It was actually from China. It was a bioweapon.
Yeah, well, it's like, I'm just listening to this, like, didn't we already know this? Like,
yeah, and it's like all the evidence was already out there, like,
yeah,
new evidence proving. It's like it was already proven, retard.
Well, I think a lot of it just has to do. I think the reason why they're doing this is because of the war. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's just like the saber rattling with China continues, and now it's like, oh, they've just been like holding this in their back pocket for a while to just continue to try to add on the justification for more conflict with China, you know?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, that's exactly. And now my parents are like real hyped up on it. They're like, oh, they're like, you have to. They were like, when you do your stream, make sure you ask him about coronavirus. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, bro, this, who cares? I almost went on like this like whole like insane rant at them. I'm like, how are people like this retarded? I don't even know what else to say. Just how are people this retarded, man?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's like the thing is, it's a dead issue now too. You know, it's like no one really cares about it. It's like it's gone. No one gives a crap. So it's like it's sort of like safe to talk about now. It's like, I mean, I have like, you know, like normal people that talk about like they're like liberals. I know liberals that are like very, I guess, conspiratorial about certain aspects of this thing now, and they're like questioning it. It's like, well, okay, now it's like reached its sort of peak in the zeitgeist now, where it's like, okay, you can talk about this now. But
yeah. Boudreaux Bear sends a super chat of $10. He says, "Man fading in the night. Yo, Beardson, great stream." Man fading in the night. What does that mean?
I think it's his username on Cozy.
Okay. Base.
Yeah, he super chats me every now and again.
Base Redfield. Let's go, man. So there's one more thing that I want to talk about, and you know, maybe we'll start winding down the stream, you know. But I found this news article, and this is something that I've been covering on my channel for a while, and it's something Nick has vaguely talked about. Nick talks about frequently how we don't really realize how much we are under control, or like how susceptible we are to like being psyoped, to like mind control, basically, right? Like how susceptible we are to propaganda. And so what I have here is a story from End Times Headlines, which is a very base website. It's ran by you know, good Christians, and they do some good stuff. You guys should go check them out. endtimeheadlines.org. Not like sponsored or anything, it's just like I use them a lot. AI turns people's thoughts into images with 80% accuracy, prompting fears of mind control. So let's read this. Artificial intelligence can create images based on text prompts, but scientists unveiled a gallery of pictures the technology produces by reading brain activity. According to the Daily Mail, the new AI-powered algorithm reconstructs around 1,000 images, including a teddy bear and an airplane, from these brain scans with 80% accuracy. You know, blah, 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 blah. It's talking about that. And basically what the, you know, conclusion to this article is pretty much just like, they're training these AIs, and, you know, Elon Musk is into doing some of this stuff to basically be able to control your mind. You know, like you got Elon Musk, you know, and we all like Elon Musk somewhat, but then he's got like this like weird Neuralink stuff, and he's not really running Twitter all that well, yeah. So it's like, you know, like real shady. But there seems to be this push, and I've talked about the World Economic Forum, literally just talking about where like they'll say in their whatever, their gatherings or whatever, that we want to have the whole human race controlled by AI, and like humans will just be like flesh puppets of robots, pretty much. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think, like, honestly, we've already kind of been under control of AI for a long time, but it's just gone by a different term. It's algorithms, right?
Yeah.
You know, whether it be social media algorithms or YouTube algorithms, or whether it be, like your marketing emails, etc. I mean, these are all like, this has been implemented in our lives for a very long time. Like, I guarantee you, every single person that's going to watch this has been influenced somewhat by a social media algorithm. I mean, there's actually been like studies that show that Facebook used to conduct tests on users against their will, basically, where they would show them like nothing but negative posts and nothing but positive posts in order to try to influence their mood, influence their way of thinking, etc. This has all been like documented like heavily before, and you can even go back to, if you want to talk about mind control, I mean, this stuff even goes back as far as like the MK Ultra days in the 60s and 70s to the CIA selling those secrets to advertisers, or using entertainment, working closely with Hollywood in order to get certain perceptions to become more mainstream, or to get people more susceptible to, certain ideas. I mean, this is stuff that's been going on forever. And I think the AI, it's going to be another evolution of that. I mean, I don't know. I don't see it necessarily as like this big thing that I'm super scared of or worried about, just because it's really like out of our control at this point. I mean, people don't even realize this. AI has been writing and generating a lot of like newspaper articles for like years.
Yeah, definitely.
Because like a lot of these like journalists or whatever, they don't have the time to sit there and write local car crash or whatever. So they just plug in the information, have it print out a script. They'll go in and change a few things and clean it up a little bit, and they publish it, and then there you go. I mean, so this is something that's been going on forever. I'm glad more people are talking about it. And hopefully, people will have a sort of disconnect and can sort of like, I guess, unplug from it all. But I don't know. I'm not too necessarily worried about it. I mean, I think it's probably gonna be a long time before this stuff becomes like super damaging to the human. I think things more like TikTok algorithms are far more dangerous than what AI is producing right now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like you said, it's out of our control. There's nothing we can do to change it, And as a Christian, it's a sin to like, fear. I mean, it's not a sin to always fear, like Jesse Lee Peterson says, but it is a sin to be afraid of things that like aren't in your control and you can't really do anything about it, Like that you shouldn't even be thinking about that. But I think it is important to just acknowledge this, because we're really like in a closing window right now where eventually, like, creating a Christian future, if we don't really get through in the next couple of years and really get to people, it's going to become increasingly more and more impossible. And even right now with like the algorithms or whatever, it's practically impossible because you can't get on Twitter, you can't be on YouTube. Like Big Nick, who just super chatted, gets banned off of YouTube for like talking about like 9/11. like so it's like, bruh. But eventually it's going to get to a point where it's not just that they're able to ban anyone who's saying something right-wing or conservative or Christian, but to where you'll just be surrounded by wall-to-wall AI-generated propaganda everywhere you go that is like perfectly suited to your interests. And you'll never be able to find anything that will counter that. And you won't even know if it's real or not, or if it's from like an actual person. They'll just analyze your patterns and surround you with propaganda that's like, put things up your butt, have sex with people that aren't the same as your race, whatever else, Jews love you. I don't know what they'll tell you. But they say worship Satan.
Yeah, but I mean, this is why it's like so important that we like Christians get in charge of the country ultimately, because like we are. I think the only way to like really face this sort of problem is going to be a legislative one. Like we are going to have to like regulate like this sort of thing. This is like this, because to me, like, what's the job of the government ultimately is to take care of the people. And this stuff is very clearly damaging to the American population, to the human psyche, and so like that we need like an actual real health department, you know, not this one that basically says that it's okay to be gay, blah blah blah, pushes propaganda or whatever. Like we need an actual health department to like look into and study the effects of like, you know, these algorithms or this AI generated stuff on the human consciousness and the human psyche and the brain and brain development. So that way we can actually have a government that can regulate and act appropriately in order to sort of rein this stuff in, or to just, you know, take care of it forever.
Yeah, so many people are like against that too. I don't really want to get into that, but like so many Christians are like, there's this like one Jewish woman who watches me and she like spams my like Discord server saying like Jews rock, pretty much. She's like a Jewish Christian. And she like hates Nick and she hates like Christian nationalism. Because she's like, how can you regulate Christian morals? All power, absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, brother.
I don't know, man. I just think that's
it's like yeah, it does, but it's like America. You know, say what you will about America, but at least the framework of our government is like pretty rock solid because we have, I don't know, checks and balances and things like that. Granted, you know, the Constitution could probably use a little work, but in terms of just like the actual framework of the way that our government runs, yeah, I mean, you can do a lot with that, but that's so stupid. That's such a stupid thing to say.
I can save like, her in the chat.
That's like some like 1984 type shit. Like Orwell was right. Oh, okay, yeah, great, thank you.
Bro. I can save her. Bro. Good luck, I got a $5 super chat from Big Nick. You know about Big Nick?
Not really. I've heard the name though.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's a good friend
of
the show. He says, what are Beardson's thoughts on stew posting?
I'm not a big fan, personally.
You're not a big fan?
I'm not a big stew posting fan, but, you know, it's going to be funny sometimes. I'm not going to hate on it.
Why don't you like stew posting?
Because it's old. It kind of ran its course.
Come on, don't you know I'm the originator of the stew post? Me and BC Covington, we originated the stew post.
I think Tenrio would probably have a word for you.
Well, you know,
but...
me and Tenrio, we're gonna have to get into a real fight about it.
Yeah,
honest. We're gonna have to like wrestle it out in a half pack 4 because I am the originator. It happened on the original URFRIENDLYHOOD Discord server while we were watching AFPAC 3, and it's undisputed. I can bring so many witnesses.
Yeah, I don't know.
URFRIENDLYHOOD, check Discord. I've been given an example of a stew post. I don't know how I'm supposed to pull it up. Can you send it on Instagram? Because I can't pull up my fucking. I'm not gonna pull up my fucking Discord DMs on on stream. Or like send it on Telegram or something if you can. I don't know. So what did you think about this this little thing that we've done here today, Beardson? You think
it was good. I had fun, man.
Very base.
It was a good show.
This nibba. Very red pilled. I mean, is there anything that like you want to like close out with? What's like your closing thoughts here that you want to leave us with?
I hate women.
Base.
I think that's really it. I mean, if you had to sum me up in 3 words, that's really what it comes down to. I don't like women. And they're awful.
Alright, hold up. We're pulling it up right now. Right here on stream. So what do you think about this, Beardson?
It's interesting for sure. Yeah.
You don't like it?
A little bit of the old stew. Yeah. No, I dig it. I don't really like looking at those gross teeth though. That's not good.
This is one of the original. This is one of the first stew posts to happen. I think who was there? It was Big Nick was there, and then I think BC Covington and a few others. I had to like pull together my witnesses, so like when we have the court case over who owns the copyright to stew posting, I can prove that it's me.
Yeah, you're gonna need to bring some receipts because Tenrio's claiming he's the leader of the stew crew, so you're gonna have to have it out with him.
Alright, well, I think that's like the end of the stream. What should we like close out with? What's a good song? What's a good song?
I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, you're into like weird music and shit. What should we close out with? I don't care if it's copyright. It don't matter to me. You know, whatever.
Let's see. Let's see. Do Tobacco is the artist.
Tobacco is the artist.
Well, no, that's not. That's just the name of the artist.
Tobacco is the artist. It's by Tobacco.
Yeah, it's by Tobacco.
Sorry, I just typed literally what you said. Sorry.
No, Stretch Your Face by Tobacco would be good.
Stretch Your Face.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Let's go. I love stretching my face. All right, have a good night, everyone. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you